Welcome back. In this video, we'll take care of the upvotes. Alright, so as you know, we should start from Adonis make model up upvotes model. So we just need to create the upvote here and upvote model, and we need to create the migration based on that. Cool. And now it's time to get involved here. So if we go ahead in the model, two things we need to take care. So as far as the relationship, yeah, upvote belongs to a user, right? Upvote belongs to a news. So basically, it's as simple as that. So when I write, it should be easy for you, right? So just say news, right? So this return this belongs to app models news, right? So a user, right? So user, just say this and return this belongs to app models user. As simple as that. Because a port can be put to a port can be given to a news, and should be given by a user. So a port should have the two logics here, right? So the reverse logics will be here in news, right? So in user we need to go here, right? So upvotes, right? So upvotes return this has many app models upvote. So user can have multiple upvotes. So basically, like, I can upvote to all the news here, right? So I should not be like I can only give upvotes for one single, right? So one single uh, thing, right? So that is not the case for us. So basically, this should have many upvotes. So basically, this is same for news as well. So just go to news, and I just can copy this here. Alright, so that should do. Alright, so if we go ahead in here, let's go to let's say we need to go to database, migrations, and upvotes. This is where our tricky things come. Table.integer user ID and table dot integer, you might guess it, news ID. So unsigned, right? So as I already said, we can have this for news. So when the news is created, it should have something like that. So we need to have the news ID references ID in table news. So this should be this, as I already mentioned. Alright, so that should do. That's all we need here. So as of now, we'll take care of everything. after this. So let's migrate things up. So Adonis migration run. The table is migrated. If we go ahead here, now we can browse this. So now we can see here. So if we click this one, we can see our upvotes here. So if we click this one, we have this. We can see the structure of it, which only says news ideas of foreign key, but that's how it should work. So that's how it should work. So we can have this very mediator, and let's create a ports model and controller to clear up things. So basically you can say no, we don't need to, we'll take care of inside home controller, so we don't need to create that one. Alright, so what we have to do here, when I hit this one, I need to create that upvote. So basically I need to put the user ID, which is which is going to say that this user is created, this user gives the upvotes, and news ID, this upvote is for that news, basically that, right? So we can do that. So let's go with routes.js, and remember, when you are logged in, you should give the update, so upvotes, right? So I just need to say home controller dot upvote. So just leave this. So just need to say upvote and just leave this. Alright, so we need to pass the ID of the news, right? So just to make sure that we have putting the correct you're putting the correct upvote for the correct news. So that's how it should work. So we need to go to home controller, and we can write async upvote. After that, we can say first we need to look for the user, right? So const user auth dot get user, just like that. So we need to avoid them. First things first, we need to use auth, right? So second thing, we obviously know that we need to going to use params here, right? So just like that. So const upvotes equal to await new upvote, right? So this upvote, so just you need to use this one here. So const upvote equals use app models and upvote. Alright, so that's it. So now we can we can do is upvotes dot user ID equals user dot ID, and upvotes dot news ID equals params.id, and finally await upvotes dot say. Alright, so that's it. So finally we can do session dot flash, not all, just flash success message saying that upvoted successfully. Alright, finally we can go to return, redirect, response.redirect to same page. So in this case back. So we need to use session and response. Fine. Now it should work. So as you can see this, and this is a post request. We need to get authenticated. Alright. So simple things we need to care about. So how we can change this to a post request? So now we have this in welcome.h. So if we go ahead and see, we have a button here. So it is fairly simple to make this as a post request. So just add a form and saying that action accept method method post action should be let's give an alias name here and say .js. We'll give a alias of upvote, whatever. So now we can go here and say in welcome.h. We can say route. What this is happening here? So route upvote and ID of let's say what ID we can pass, just story.id, right? So we have that story.id. Cool, that should work. So we need to close the form below this one, so basically here. So just close the form and finally type submit. Alright, so if I hit refresh here, it should work same, and if I hit logout, we have this here. So we can go to here, and if I click this one, invalid CSRF token, sure enough we need to pass CSRF token here, CSRF field here. So let's start from there. So something is happening here. So for the form we have the problem here. So we'll change that later. We'll change the design later. As of now I will take care of this here. So if I click this one, you are not logged in, which means that there is something happening here. So we can go to login here now, .com, and if I click this one, upvoted successfully. If I go ahead and change this here, I can see user ID of 5 and news ID of 2. So this is the ID, news ID 2. So if you want to check this, you can go to news, and his favorite is my ID of 2, right? That's how it should work. So I love foods, I can upvote here, and I can go ahead and see. So if you go and see, I love foods is ID of 3, and if we go ahead to, so there is no upvotes here, go to upvotes, I can see ID of 3 here. Cool. That should do everything for now. This is how it should work. So let's copy this here. So inside new we can paste this. Since it is same logic, it should work for everything. So hit refresh. So I can go to new, I can go to past, everything should work fine. As of now, this design is somewhat not good, but we'll take care of that later. We'll take care of things like showing the upvote count, how we can go give the upvote counts. Alright, so we can say we can go to home controller. That's where our home is coming. So here we said right, we said that right. So we have all the all the data here, right? So it's just simple data that coming up with it. So we can say news dot query dot with count upvotes. What this with count upvotes is really mean? So this is simple, fairly simple, right? So if you go ahead and see in news model, so we have this upvotes method. So we have the logic of this relationship, right? So this should give. So if we go ahead and return this one, so return response dot json, the news will, we don't need to use this one for now, so just give the response here. If we go ahead and refresh this page, oh okay, fine, sorry about that. Fetch. Now if we go to refresh this, I can get the data, right? So upvotes count of 1. So if you go ahead and see, if I see here, I have one upvote on the user ID, news ID 2 and news ID 3. That's ID 2, ID 3 have upvotes of 1. So even if I go ahead and say let's do, so there is no upvote counts for this. So this is coming with meta, so just copy this one. We have meta, right? So just copy this one, go ahead here in let's say in welcome.h. so inside before this, just do this and story dot put that meta and dot upvotes count. Alright, so this is the upvotes count of it. Alright, so that's how it should work. So now if I go ahead to put this here, let's say okay, fine, I'll do that later based on that. So in home controller I can do the same view.render. Now if I go ahead here, so just refresh this one, I have one upvotes, right? So one upvotes. So we can say, so let's play a little game. When it is a one upvote, it should say one upvote. If it is multiple, more than one, it should say upvotes, right? So how we can do that? So we can do that easily. So welcome.edge. Now we can go, let's do copy this here. So just clear this one and copy again this one. If this one is true, we'll say if equal to 1 or 2, oops, 1, oops, we should return upvote, else it should say upvotes, right? So if it equal to 1, it should say upvote, and if it is not, it should say upvotes. So now if I go ahead refresh this one, now it is saying that upvotes. In 0 we can see it is saying that upvotes. So this is how it should work. So if I click here now, We can see the upvote count is increased to 2 and upvoted successfully. So we need to stop this one. So a user can only upvote a news item one time. So we'll take care of that in our next video. So now it should work, right? So this is how it should work. So we can go to new here. You can see 0 upvotes here. Since we don't change this, let's copy this. So put this in news, in new and past. Now we can refresh this. Oh, we don't have it count, right? So now we can go to home controller. Home controller, and now we have order by, right? So after that we can do dot with count upwards. Right, so if we don't have the relationship here like this, and inside news like this, he can't get that, right? So that's the basic mantra of it. So you just need to have this. So let's close this up. Let's close this up. Let's close this up. All right, so you can go here. So let's copy this here. We already copied, right? So we can go to home controller here. Now with the count, upvote is really useful. And again, we can see with count upvotes. Right. So now if I go ahead and refresh, now we can see our data is coming up based on new data. In the past, we have 2 upvotes data that is coming up very fine without no problems, right? So this is how it should work. So I'll take care of the design thing and other things in the next video. Alright, so what we can do in this video more than that. So let's stop this, right? So based on this, we can't put a user, we don't need to allow a user to put more than one upvotes for a single item. So we'll delete this too. Alright, so just delete this manually. Cool. So now it should have one upvote. Alright, so let's do what we can do here. So in this, when we are upvoting, we can check whether the user is already present. Excuse me, the user upvote is already present. So if let's say here, not here, here. Okay, it's fine. If so const user const exist equal to so const exist equal to await news dot query dot where user id user dot id, and another where statement, multiple where statement can be used here, and news id, which is params dot id dot first. Remember, take the first value here, right? So this is exist. So if exist, we can say session dot flash error message saying that you already upvoted, else we just need to say else statement, and all these should come under this else statement. Cool. that should do. So you need to return response dot return response dot redirect to back the same page. Alright, so we need to use session here, or everything we are using, right? We are using everything here. So just like that, we can stop uh, the user to put multiple uh, upvotes. So if I go ahead and check here, if I refresh this, sure enough we have this. If I click this one, oops, okay, something is wrong in here. What exactly wrong? So I need to change this. Something in here. Okay, I just have something that is a problem. So maybe I need something to use here, or something like I maybe missed something. What did I missed here? If exist session.flash where you already upvoted and response.redirect. So we have this one user underscore ID and where it should be working, right? So based on this, do I have the news one here? So yeah, that's news one here. Params.id user.id. That's weird. So it should have the different things coming up. So just need to go here and upvote again. You are not logged in. What if I upvote for something that is not upvoted? Still it goes. So we have something wrong in here. So basically we'll need to check this session.flash return response. If exist is this one, right? So await news.query where user ID where news ID params.id. Okay, something is happening here. What exactly the problem? So I'll take a quick pause here. We'll come up in the next video so that I don't need to waste your time here.